Hello, today's subject is Israel is responsible for the correction of the world. We're going to read chosen excerpts about it. You can ask questions in their website, Kab.tv. Selected questions will be asked during the lesson. The subject today is Israel is responsible for the correction of the world.
I would add that they're also in charge of corrupting the world and correcting. Every state in the world, Israel is responsible. That's why it's not for no reason that the nations of the world instinctively, the way that nature makes them do it because they have no choice, that blame Israel in all the corruption in the world. We are now before the revelation of the great corruption, the big one, that everything that we have accumulated by using our ego after World War II and onward, in all of our social, culture, economics, technology, all this development, now we see how all these things are because they're all based on human ego, on the will to receive. They don't actually bring a person any relief in his life, but life actually becomes more difficult. Even more, just seem like an endless struggle of each one and all together. So, when this great corruption is revealed, it won't be revealed in a way that everybody understands the reason, but everybody will feel that it's revealed, the evil, the crisis in all kinds of ways. We have to know where it came from, why, what the reason is, and according to that, to be able to work and by us explaining it and to be ready to answer, because we are the Yashar, we are the Israel that today are responsible on the corruption and the correction. That's why when we learn, when we study these excerpts, let's think practically how we, along with this, explain to ourselves and ready to explain to the whole world what our role is and what its role is and how we can work together in order to bring reality, and reality is us in the world and humanity, to the perfect state. Please.
Excerpt number 3 out of Bala Sulam's article, A Handmaid That is Heir to Her Mistress. Know that a branch that extends from the internality are the people of Israel, who have been chosen as the operators of the correction and the general purpose. They contain the preparation required for growing and developing until they come to move the nations to achieve the general goal. The branch that extends from the externality is the rest of the nations. They have not been imparted the qualities that make them worthy of receiving the conducts of development of the purpose, one at a time. Rather, they are fit to receive the correction at once and to the fullest, according to their upper root.
We see, we feel it on people when they come to the wisdom of Kabbalah. They jump on it, they want to acquire it, they want to know it, but then later on they discover that, well, maybe we can't. We can't because we can't develop in a gradual way. They're willing to receive the things, but not willing to lead things. We see in this world that there are many people that use technology, human development, human society, and all kinds of things that we make. How many people make things, invent things? How many people develop things? The advanced technology. Not many, maybe hundreds, even less, that have like a spark in their brain, and they feel the future in technology and all these things, and they develop it. The rest of the world just consume. And also, by consuming, some know more, some less. Handmaid knows that she needs to turn a knob on the stove and it works, that's it. And how many years did humanity work in order to create that stove? So, it's not so simple. That's what we are. We are those who are preparing our connection with nature in order to take from nature all these opportunities, possibilities, systems, to bring them closer to that we will use and we will integrate in them, and afterwards through us to give it to the whole world. And the people in the world have to come and take it, acquire it. Like everybody goes to a store and buy this new gadget that maybe people worked on for tens of years until it reached the store and now people can use it. So that's why there are those called Israel, that they're the developers. Yashar Kel, constantly drawn to the goal, to bring it closer, to come closer to it. And there are the nations, those who don't feel that they have a need for this, a connection. They don't find any business in this, in discovering and doing, in being, in belonging to this inner whirlwind, that you need a sense, this sense, and all these inner changes. No, they're willing to use it, obviously, especially when times are coming that aren't so pleasant, so of course, but not that they discover a desire, a need, an interest, and gradual development, as he writes here. Personal, that we discover every time that there's a increasing the desire, and they fall again and again from the bottom of the pit. You have to crawl out of it on all fours to come out, and when you come out, somehow try and find your way through what just happened, and then again fall into some trouble, revelation of evil, gradual. That every time the evil is revealed again, and it's a lot of forces and suffering in order to come out of it, to find yourself a way in it, to see how to work with it until somehow find the correct attitude towards the egoistic connection that just made us stupid and conquered our heart and didn't give us any opportunity to run from it, until gradually we start by daily study with things we're doing to start conquering it, and then to ride on it a bit. And when you reach it again, comes a new will to receive, an even deeper pit, and helplessness and don't know what to do, complete stupidity in the mind and heart, and so on. So, as it's written, not every person can suffer this, not everybody can do it, not everybody is worthy. Well, give me something ready, prepare it already. Teach me how to use it. What button do I have to push? What knob do I have to turn in order to enjoy everything? Washing machine, stove, I'm ready. Because I feel benefit. But the benefit in a sense, no. So we need to understand this, especially in our contact with the masses. The people don't have such preparations like we do. They're only willing, they're not ready to develop, just to receive something ready, a final product. And in this way, we need to relate to this, not to try and explain their ways and processes of the development, but what is good for now, for life, in a way that they can take it and use it, just like in the store, that there's devices ready to use. That's what we have to understand, otherwise we won't succeed in implementing our destiny towards the people. So we have to learn how we acquire this art, this experience, this process, and how we prepare ourselves to explain this, and in a good way to the people. Read it again.
Excerpt number 3 again, by Bala Sulam, a handmaid that is heir to her mistress. Know that a branch that extends from the internality are the people of Israel, who have been chosen as the operators of the correction and the general purpose. They contain the preparation required for growing and developing until they come to move the nations to achieve the general goal. The branch that extends from the externality is the rest of the nations. They have not been imparted the qualities that make them worthy of receiving the conducts of development of the purpose, one at a time. Rather, they are fit to receive the correction at once, and to the fullest, according to their upper root.
Questions? Yes, Nessie.
So we understood what our role is. We have to be the adapter. We have to pass on the method of connection. But what's the role of the nations of the world in order to bring reality to the complete state?
They need to implement it. I just gave you an example. You have a person who develops some special device, and then he gives it to them to use it. The correction is in them. We are the Rosh. We develop. Also the devices themselves, also the software on how to use it, also the plan, how to reach it, how to reach the right life, the right goal through it. We're doing everything. They take it and implement it. How do I say this? By our management, let's say. But the actual realization is in them. The will to receive is in them. It is divided into billions of pieces, and in order for them to know how to use it, they will realize it. They will finish the correction. Not us. What's in the Rosh expands in the Guf. So we have to organize the Guf, the body, and give the rules to teach them and watch over the process until we reach Gmar Tikkun. That's our role. In Gmar Tikkun, in complete Gemar Tikkun, there will be no difference between the Rosh and Guf. That's what seems to me. I don't know, that's what it seems to me. That the Rosh doesn't have a role anymore. The Guf and Rosh become one. How does it work? I don't know. Could be that the Rosh is so integrated with the Guf, the head and the body, that the vessels become complete 10 Sfirot as it was. I don't know. But until Gemar Tikkun, until the end, we must also, it won't be us here in this form anymore, but the Rosh will need to do everything and also be responsible for everything it did, because the Guf only has what it received from the Rosh. That's why you can't say any word about them. They must be under your complete control. Okay? Yeah.
I didn't understand what the meaning of giving them only what they can take and use means.
The correct instructor knows in which way he can release the material to his students. We see how we advance, even though we might not agree, but we see how gradually come descents, ascents, problems, this and that, it's all revealed, and it is all revelation of the ego, of the will to receive. That there is nothing in this. There is no other reason that in my life I feel this, suddenly that. What do I feel? The revelation of the will to receive brings me all these forms, more pleasant, less pleasant. If it's in my feeling, I might understand it more or less if it's an understanding, but altogether that's the advancement. So we have to see what the Creator is doing with us. Just we don't feel or understand, it's always above us. We feel it from what comes prepared already, but we need, as in our life, we explain to them only what they can attain, what they can get for their benefit. I won't teach a 3-year-old how to use a computer. Well, maybe today, yes, I don't know. Or something, let's say something dangerous. But if he already knows how to be careful, he has a mind already. So, yeah, everything comes at its right time. You also want something?
Rav, you said that we have to invent these devices so that the rest of the nations can use. Maybe you can give us an example for one device that you can touch?
A 10, a Congress, Yeshivat Chaverim, meals, songs, campus, and so on. We need to give to them, and they also need, in their root, and in their level, not from above downward, but in their plane, to develop these things too. We are doing the inventions. They are copying them. Yes.
So the question is really how to market it, as if it's something essential to their life or some supplement, or
obviously it's essential, otherwise they won't take it. Look how they stick commercials to you,
and specifically from the good side or the bad side, that if they don't have it they'll feel bad or good, or
that'll happen in according to what there is. Obviously the best if they feel bad, and you bring them good on one hand. On the other, from love thy friend as thyself, you can't actually wait until they feel bad, but try to publish these things in a way that even without feeling bad, they will be in awareness of the evil. The awareness is before the feeling. The wise see what is born. If you explain it in advance, that you can explain it in advance, the future blows. That seem as they're coming from far. And that's enough to come to correct themselves. That's an art. Yaakov.
Why is there some spiritual explanation about the reason that the people of Israel are more impressed by people from the world than from their fellow people in Israel?
Because we're in the shattering, and our egoistic materials in control. That's why it's closer to us, the state of the nations, than the internality of Israel, which is in order to bestow. That's why we are drawn to their culture, to their education. I'm not talking about quantity that is affecting us, because for them, the hero, the winner, is in quantity, and in correction, it's in quality. So we're in the shattering. That's why we get inspiration from the quantity and from the ego they're using, and so on. Yeah.
In our dissemination, should we use what you just said? Talk more to their ego in the beginning?
Always. If I don't turn to human ego, he doesn't hear. We have to understand their nature and in what state he's in, and so on. And according to that, you turn to somebody.
Regarding giving the people what they can swallow, it seems that the role of the people of Israel is the last thing people can perceive, at least the Israelis.
Correct.
So what should we do with that?
We have to understand, they're in a shattering. The nations of the world haven't had a spiritual ascent, and so they haven't fallen into the depth of the ego. The people of Israel that were in the degree of Mochin Dechaya and fell, they're in the depth of their ego much more than the nations. That's why they say that the nation of Israel is the most egoist, and that's true, because the spiritual ascent became a corporeal descent. That's why, where do you see Jews succeeding in everything corporeal? Why? Because they fell. Now, what to do with it? To use it back for an ascent, and that's not simple. Their correction is much more difficult. Well, as usual, is just like us during a descent and an ascent. Somebody wrote me after the Congress that, what was it, 2 days ago, and they said we're in such states that confused in our head, we can't find ourselves around anything, it's disoriented, I don't understand the world myself, what's going on? Yeah, I heard such, I said, if you have a sleeping pill for a week, sleep and wake up in a different way. But the best, to study. Be connected. That speeds up your exit. And it'll truly be an exit. It'll be an ascent. That's how it is? Yeah.
Regarding our messages, so the message of connection, it seems to me that it can pass and people can listen here in Israel. But if you go to an Israeli and explain to him about the role of the people of Israel, in my feeling and the people around me, people can't even hear it.
It depends how you explain it. Today, more or less, we understand that the world is in a crisis, and then it comes from the lack of the correct connection between people, between countries. You know what a huge correction there is by 30 countries connecting in Europe. The most developed part of humanity wanted to connect. Doesn't matter that it's not heart to heart. It's through banks, through industry, and so on. an egoistic connection in order to deal with Russia, America, and China. Also, to be a superpower as America, Russia, and China. That's it. So even that, what an attainment it is, the understanding that in connection we become strong. Lately, you see a lot of cases, countries that are willing. They don't know how to do it, but they are willing to connect to all kinds of to have all kinds of covenants, even though it isn't kept for a long time. There's some that sign it, and the next day they see it crumbles. But the tendency towards it, they already understand that the connection is a force. Now, they also understand that, look how we want to be connected with more countries in the world. I'm talking about Israel. Now the question is this: can we be strong if we're not connected? Everybody will agree that no. Now the question is how we explain. The difficulty is explaining as much as the world understands that it needs to be connected, it will hate Israel more and more. That is the most difficult part in explaining. So here, it has to be through dissemination, explanation. It's not simple for us either. Look how many hours, how many times we're talking about this, and we don't really absorb this. It just drips in. Yep. Okay, let's keep going.
Excerpt number 4 by Be'er Maim Chaim. Israel is the first and foremost to receive all the abundance, and from them it is dispensed to all the worlds. For this reason they are called Israel, meaning Li Rosh, namely that they are in the discernment of Rosh, of head, to receive the blessing first, and after them the rest of the world. Yeah, that's Be'er Maim Chaim. It's a very special interpretation about the Torah. You can read it. So Israel is the first and foremost to receive all the abundance, and from them it is dispensed to all the worlds. To all the worlds. For this reason they are called Israel, meaning Li Rosh, namely that they are in the discernment of Rosh, head, to receive the blessing first, and after them the rest of the world. Well, how to explain that? I'll say again. We have to repeat it 1,000 times and in various ways and examples from history and geography and whatever, until they understand that this is so, and you can't run away from it. If this is our destiny, so that's the way it is. And again, if either you explain it to the people that they also have to join it, or you explain it to the ones who are now joining Yashar Kel, Israel. But both have to know that the role is a role. Questions? Yes, Dudi.
You said before that the nations of the world or the general public, it'll be difficult for them to understand complex things. Tell me what button to push. I don't want to understand the developers.
Yeah, but you have to show him that this machine you're selling him, this washing machine, is for his benefit. It's for his benefit. take a housewife from the 18th century and start explaining to her what a washing machine is and how beneficial it is for her. That she knows how to take her sheets and she knows how to take them to the river or to the pond and to wash them over there. Well, you're bringing her some piece of metal. She puts her sheets in it, and there starts turning around, doing something, and you're taking it out clean. Yeah, well, how?
What is the machine I'm bringing to them? What's the button she has to push?
I don't know. You're the one who writes articles. You have to know. You should know.
What does she have to push?
She has to know that this is the beginning, this dirty laundry, this is the end, the clean laundry, and in between all she has to do is to push the button. But she has to know what she puts in and what she's getting out. That it's for her. It's her benefit. Her ego gains here. The action. Instead of going out and doing the laundry, do you know how hard this work is? Instead of just pushing a button, and in the meantime, you can go to the stove and make some food. Or electric stove and take the food out of your refrigerator and not to run to buy because it
gets spoiled.
If you have to show her all these things, and it has to be according to she has to understand that it's worthwhile. That's the work. Okay? You always want to ask, so I can't let you ask all the time. You can ask, but you should know not every time you're going to be permitted to. Go on.
Number 5, from the Arvut by Baal HaSulam, item 28. It says, "Now therefore, if ye hear unto my voice indeed, and keep my covenant," meaning make a covenant on what I am telling you here, "that you shall be mine own treasure from among all the people." This means that you will be my treasure, and sparks of purification and cleansing of the body shall pass through you unto all the people and nations of the world, for the nations of the world are not yet ready for it. And at any rate, I need one nation to start with now, so it will be as a remedy for all the nations. And therefore, he ends, "For all the earth is mine," meaning all the people of the earth belong to me as do you, and are destined to cleave to me. But now, while they are still incapable of performing that task, I need a virtuous people.
Look what's going on. How he emphasizes that are not yet ready at all to this work of correction, the work with their will to receive in order to bestow. Therefore, he needs this part of the will to receive called Israel, Yashar Kil, that the Creator has prepared intentionally, prepared for this special role, so they can attain divinity gradually in order to feel and understand and integrate with all these stages, and then to be ready both from the divine level and the level of the nations of the world, to be connected in both, and to be like a pipeline passing this divine method to the quality of human beings. As much as this part Israel, how important it is and how difficult, unsimple it is. It's not just a passageway. I'm just like a pipeline. I'm nothing. I'm just passing. No, it's a whole system. We call it a pipeline because you need nothing for yourself. It's only for the sake of the Creator and the sake of the created beings. And this is why this role is not simple at all. If we don't take, why do we study this so much? First of all, we're standing before a crisis. We talked about it. And one more thing is that if we don't understand the essence of this role, we can't advance properly. Our whole study has to be for this purpose. And then it will become a blessing and success for us. Read it again.
Again, number 5. It says, "Now therefore, if you hear my voice and keep my covenant," meaning make a covenant on what I am telling you here, "that you shall be my own treasure from among all people." This means that you will be my treasure, and sparks of purification and cleansing of the body shall pass through you unto all the people and the nations of the world. For the nations of the world are not yet ready for it. And at any rate, I need one nation to start with now, so it will be as a remedy for all the nations. And therefore he ends, "For all the earth is mine," meaning all the people of the earth belong to me, as do you, and are destined to cleave to me. But now, while they are still incapable of performing that task, I need a virtuous people.
Questions? Yes, Niv.
After Bala Sulam, what else do we have to upgrade in this method?
I think it's to realize, to implement. I don't feel that there's something to add. God forbid, no. I don't know. It's possible that we're still part of his generation, we're still under his influence, and that's why we don't see so much. But to me it seems that what he did it all. He did everything. He opened up this whole method. Well, of course, there's more like Tosfot, like small supplements in the practical work that are yet to come, but it's like some add-ons to what he discovered.
So what do these vessels add that
we realize? Well, what are you talking about? It's our duty to realize it. He did it all. We have to implement it. It is possible that out of our experience, we're going to write different things, so it will become easier for the ones who come after us to advance. Because every generation climbs atop the previous generation, so generation atop generation, and so on their back they climb higher. But the truth is, the method itself, you have nothing else to do with it. Okay, Moscow.
That's exactly it. There's a huge difference between spiritual connection and corporeal connection. Also, Rabash writes that the result from each one investing in spiritual unity is that he gets the part that he invested in. It's not proportional or not. So it turns out that the method is a bit different. That what we're doing between us and what we're passing on. If somebody unites at his workplace, so he'll hate whoever works for him. They don't have a mutual goal for us, like us, so it's not clear what we're supposed to pass on.
I don't understand the question. What, in the workplace, to pass? What?
all briefly. Spiritual connection is different than corporeal connection. Here, we practice spiritual unity. What example can we show to whoever doesn't need spiritual connection?
We want a spiritual connection, meaning in the connection between us, we want to reveal the Creator, which is the reward. That's the prize. The nations of the world, the ones who don't have the spark in their heart, they want to connect. They'll want to connect after we explain it to them and after they understand that there is a method. Nonetheless, that connection brings a corporeal fulfillment, an egoistic fulfillment to them. Yeah. By them engaging in connection through us, even that their goal is egoistic, through us they'll get bestowal from above, an influence from above that will change them immediately. Without the degrees of recognition of evil and good, they'll simply improve in the connection between them from an egoistic connection to an altruistic connection, without recognition of evil on the way, as it is with us. When we have to reveal evil, to rise above evil with the soul, etc. No, they'll get these things all at once. What does that mean, all at once? It's like skipping over the degrees. That's how they develop. That's how the housewife develops. Instead of using a stove, with chopping woods and putting them into the stove, now she gets a gas-powered stove or electric-powered stove in order to cook. That's it. Yeah, she doesn't know how it happens inside, in what way, what makes the heat, etc. All these things, there are so many things there, and wisdom inside it, and mechanics, and she doesn't know. She knows she's turning the knob, and that's what she's doing. Talk to people who drive cars. Today, what do they understand about the car? Except for the fact that there's the engine, there are the wheels, nothing else. That's it. In old times, they used to understand a bit about what's going on there, but today, nothing. So that's the meaning of getting the correction all at once. You're not in the development. You're not incorporated in the Rosh, in the brains of this. What's in the Rosh spreads into the Guf, and what's in the Guf, that's it. I use it. And we, in our dissemination, we have to, rather than starting to explain to them what's going on in the Rosh of the Partzuf, we shouldn't teach them that. Just show and explain to them that they are going to feel good. They're going to be in a good state. That's it. And then, how to behave for you to be better off. But all the process, the inner wisdom, how the Rosh performs this calculation and what's going on, no, that's not, it's impossible. You can't explain it, but it will only confuse them. We have to search and find simple things, always. Just like when you publish commercialize new devices. Yes, Moshe.
What's the product? What's the final product?
The product? Good life. Good life. Box of chocolate.
What is that box of chocolate?
The best in the world. I open it, and whatever I want is sweet. What?
I don't understand. What is that good thing?
What's now bad for me? There's something that can sweeten all these bad things, make it good. It's like the doctor gives you a pill, you have no more headaches. One more pill, something else. That's all. It's like a remedy. It's a wonder.
What is this wonder?
We call it sgula, a remedy.
What's the bad?
The bad is that I feel bad. I'm not happy about my life. I have blows, I have problems. That's bad. I don't need to explain the bad. I feel it in my life. If you don't feel bad, there's nothing to address them with. And it's forbidden. That's why everyone's silent, everyone's waiting. We've been waiting for thousands of years. We'll wait one more year. Soon. You don't even need a year. Next year, 2019, we're going to start practically feeling this great descent.
If the bad is that the will to receive brings all the bad. My heart, the internality of it, brings me to bad.
Yes.
And the good can only come through the light that reforms.
Yes.
So that means if we go a bit back, so like in the Chassidut, there were all these Kabbalists and attainment that could collect the people and give them the light that reforms in some way.
They were giving hope.
Hope. What can we...
The common people never stopped suffering. They didn't stop suffering. They were just in a state that at least hearing and believing to a certain extent, because we're talking about 200 or 300 years ago, maybe even more. So, out of lack of choice, it gave them hope and mitigation, but not that the lights illuminated for them.
What the light that reforms, it is what working, not me and not somebody else can do good.
Truth.
So each one needs to ask of the Creator to bestow to him.
Yes.
How do we explain such a product?
No. Who am I passing this to? No, there's no one to pass this to. They have to receive it when it's ready. Out of the integration, out of connecting these with those, when they start connecting by our management, they'll be ready, they'll be willing to be like receiving the light from us as like in a pipeline.
So we need, in our gathering, and the correct connection between us, have to connect to them, so they will connect to us, and through this, the good, the light, will pass and bestow to us, and to them, and the whole world.
Yes.
And they have no idea that that's what he's telling them. They only know that they're sitting in circles, and they're gathering with us.
Yes. I don't understand your difficulty.
The difficulty is if I go a bit back and I see the Chassidut or the Kabbalists that had students, and those students had students. Also there, I can't really see that anything came out of that.
You're talking about different times. You can't say. These are different times. Now, as Baal HaSulam says, it's the last generation. Then there was development, there was preparation. And also the preparation was there. It turned off. That's it. It all became later these egoistic movements. What can you do? Here, it's a different shape. You have a group that is about to attain the spiritual force in it, and a method, and out of that, it's developing itself in order to disseminate and bestow to the nation and to the world by the force it's about to attain.
Well, the people of Israel have to know or how to work on drawing the light, or just sitting, connecting, having a cup of coffee together.
If it's together, that's also good to have a cup of coffee. Together.
I'm serious.
I am serious. If you're together, you don't need anything else.
On what level of togetherness?
As one man in one heart. Otherwise, it's not the people of Israel. Otherwise, it's the nations of the world, etc. They have to reach spiritual discernments already. It's not about the ID, what it says in the ID.
That's after work.
Yes, it's a result of the effort.
So they will also need to know how to push the buttons and not just a prepared device.
No, they're going to have to press these buttons, but the buttons are ready. The machine is made. It will be well organized by us.
So we will give them a method of working the Creator.
You're passing a washing machine to a housewife and you're teaching her how to work with this washing machine. Let's say you're the technician. So you know, when you bring this device, a technician comes, he teaches her. That's how it works. Today, the shop sells, it can't sell without service because they're responsible for it to work properly. Then a person comes and he teaches. So with us too, we have to have those who bring the devices. First of all, that people will want to buy them, then the ones who supply them, then someone comes and explains, and someone who supervises it. You know, that's the way it goes. Yeah, it's actually a very good example that we have today. Yes.
What does it mean? We're going to sell them a method of working the Creator? That's what we're doing?
In their degree. In their degree. Since that housewife that uses the washing machine, she's a modern woman, and she knows how to do it. How many people in the world actually know how a washing machine works? Not many. But how many use it? Everybody. We have to disseminate. That's all. Next. Yes.
Can you explain where exactly the explanation comes here?
Explanation is, first of all, publishing it like a commercial for them to buy. It's not just like that. It's what do you have today, what you're going to have after you buy it, how much it costs, in what way you buy it. Look at those people who bought it. They're enjoying, and you're suffering, and all these things we have. We have to know how to approach people, because this is the most important product, and it's very
precious.
The price is high, and it's it's far from people. It's not simple. How can you sell it? Let's say you invented something, and it will give a new life to humanity, a new life, a new world, but they don't know it. They can't recognize it. You know how much strength and money and people you have to use in order to bring it closer to the user? It's not simple. How much they invest in it? You know, in advertising, you know how much they invest? More than half of the price of the product. We think that it's wanted. No one will want it, and especially not our product. Who needs it? Who believes in it? Who knows? Who sees that it will help them? That it works against the ego? Connect, you'll be better off. Well, okay. Here, that's how you tell the children in the kindergarten. Do they hear you? They don't. Yes.
So where does the explanation come here? When we explain it outward, I understand the general picture, that we explain the problem, we explain the fulfillment, but in what can we explain here?
I don't understand your question. What do you mean? Where is the explanation? What is the explanation? I don't understand these words. You explain because they already feel bad. They feel helpless. The world is dark. The world is about to be ruined. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about 6 months from today. Suppose. The economic crisis, a crisis between different countries, and the connections between the countries and between human beings, etc. The threat on Israel will be much worse. Anti-Semitism, many fold, and etc., etc. And then you have a basis upon which you can explain to people, both Israelis and the nations of the world, why is it bad? And where does it come from? Why does humanity go down to such states? It's because of the ego, the desire in them that cannot connect to anyone, and therefore only by the lack of the right connection between us we reach such states. Yes. So you have the beginning of the explanation. But it's all because you feel bad. If you don't feel bad, you have nothing to tell this person. He's going to say, let me go. I want to enjoy life in the meanwhile. Yeah, I heard it a lot from Americans 5 and 10 and 15 years ago. I told them that, but they said, yeah, but in the meantime we're having fun, so we're okay. Enjoying. And they're right. They are right. Until today, until a year or two ago, their nose was up high. Even though things started happening here and there, and I was telling them, soon anti-Semitism and the problems, you don't know what stinking pride they were all covered with. Yes?
So you present the bad, you explain the reason, but how? From a person hearing about the reason for bad, he's going to want to take a product and start using it.
That's something you have to take through these steps. He feels bad, he feels bad. Now you explain to him what the reason for this bad feeling is, and correspondingly what could be good, and how to take these steps from bad to good. All you're telling him is, I can bring you to a good state. You're going to feel confidence, sweetness, everything's good. You have a good future. Your children have a good future. That's all. That's what a person wants, all in all. So, that's something you have to build, these steps. Okay.
No.
Well.
Something about our sources. What form will the sources take before the general public? How will they use them?
No, they won't use them.
Just completely nothing? Just for points in the heart study? Only they will use them?
There are some you can present, some sources, some excerpts here and there, if they will affect them in a good way. But if it won't, so don't.
And another thing, the matter of the connection. A lot of time we ask how to give connection in a way that the will to receive can enjoy it. Meaning, how critical is it? Because I see that...
Did you ever write something in your life?
Yes?
Well, and don't you feel that When you write and you present things to the readers, don't you feel it?
I do try and serve it that it will interest them, and
So why are you asking me? You should be ready for it. And if you're not doing dissemination, I don't even want to talk to you.
we have experience in writing, but we don't really succeed in making the audience come to connection and that they'll enjoy it. I can give you an example, a simple example. Let's say I sent my daughter to a lesson, a great activity here in BB, and after a few lessons she preferred to go to judo. There was a great activity here, an amazing instructor, and it could be that she has fun, but she doesn't feel in the activities that. In writing, yes, but you write, people get impressed by it, but in actual activities, we're lacking.
So we have to continue. Continue, just not get stuck on the way. Don't be stubborn. Constantly search how to change things more and more. Bring it up. Maybe we'll study it together. Let's read a bit more. Number 6.
Number 6 from Sfat Emet. The people of Israel became responsible for the correction of the world through the power of the Torah. And they were told, "For the whole earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a nation of priests, and a holy people." Indeed, everything depends on the children of Israel. When they correct themselves, all the created beings follow after them.
It's a simple thing, and always like that in spirituality, that the Creator has created to do. If we do something, a certain action, we have to always hold on to the end of the action. The end of the act is in the initial thought. If I wish to succeed, I first of all want to know what will be in the end, and I'm seemingly in it already. I want to succeed in being a champion of something. So I'm in it, seemingly. I think about it, I live it. And then now I'm taking the action that, according to my opinion, according to how I understand, how I investigated, that would bring me to that state, to the state of champion. So, to our matter at hand, we did not receive the method, the Torah, the wisdom of Kabbalah. We did not receive it except in order to be the connectors, the servants to the whole world. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Israel became responsible for the correction of the world through the power of the Torah. That's it. Only that. We have nothing special about us, except the special role, special job that we are responsible. We are the caretakers. We work hard in order to bring the world to connection with the Creator. That's it. It's not like there's something to be proud of. Yes, to be proud of something, but to be proud of this difficult role, which we got only in order to do it. Meaning, let's put it this way, this job is the lowest job, you can say, because we need to serve everyone, the Creator and the nations of the world. We need to connect, we need to arrange, and so on and so forth. This is our work, the work of the Creator. So there's no place for pride, for to feel vain about anything. On the contrary. So the people of Israel became responsible for the correction of the world through the power of the Torah. And they were told, "For the whole earth is mine, the ego I created, and you shall be unto me a nation of priests and a holy people." Everything depends on the children of Israel. When they correct themselves, all the created beings follow after them. So it seems exalted and respectable. It's not respectable. It's a tough job that we have to do. And only according to the results we can feel proud that we did it. But not that we got a roll and everything was over with that. Like some pretty Jews who think that, oh, you were born a Jew, so you're chosen. You were chosen for hard labor, a debt. As they say, every American that is born already has a few $1 million of debt to his account. This is the same for each and every Jew. And more?
Except number 7, Henry Ford writes in his book, "The Jews are a race who kept itself alive and strong by keeping the same natural laws that by disobeying them caused so many other nations to decay. This is a race that stands before us today as a sign of the antiquities from which comes all our spiritual wealth. For too long, the Jews was accustomed to think of himself as the sole owner of humanity and society. Society has a great demand against him, namely that the world that he would stop his uniqueness and he would stop exploiting the world, that he would stop using Jews' organizations of the purpose of making profit, and that he will begin to actualize the ancient prophecy."
That's a great wise man, an anti-Semite, if you can say it this way about him, because he knew where from and why, what exactly he hates and why he hates it, and at the same time respected it very much and understood the greatness of the role of the people of Israel, not the greatness of the people that were before him, but the inner role, the inner responsibility that lies on that group. That's what he's saying. For him to begin to actualize the ancient prophecy. That's what he said the Jews must do. And this is correct. Because through this work, all the nations of the world will be blessed. It's not simple. We have to understand the source of his hatred, which comes not because he envies the Jews. He accepts it as coming from above, from nature. So we're not guilty. He's not guilty. No one is guilty. Rather, what we're guilty of is what was given us to do and we're not doing, and consequently everyone suffers. We can divide it very clearly. Questions?
I see two types of Jews. One type who thinks that he's higher than everyone else, and a second type who thinks there's no difference between Jews and everyone else. There's a difference. Is there a difference in how we disseminate to one type or the other?
Of course there's a difference. You have to shake them up. You have to take them out of their point of balance that each one is building for himself egoistically. Each one is building for himself a shelter, a hiding place where he can live quietly, and he doesn't care about what's happening around him on the outside, seemingly. So one says there's no difference between me and the others, and what they think is their business. And the other says this way, and the other says that way. For us, it's not important what they're thinking about. What's important to us is to bring them the truth that comes from nature. The difference is there, it's there. The state that is endangering their lives, yes. We're in a state where they can't really go on the street and feel proud and do all sorts of things. I can tell you that in past years I would come to the United States and I would see in the behavior of Jews such things that were really disgusting, such reckless pride and vanity and insolence. There was no boundary. I understand it comes from their increased ego, but we have to explain to everyone what is their destiny, otherwise it will be bad to everyone. And we are in arvut between us. And so, if any one of the Jews is doing something incorrectly or is not functioning even, the whole nation will suffer. This group has to be connected as one man in one heart in its foundation, like it or not. So we have here a mutual guarantee, the mutual responsibility. Just like he does something in such a way that he does something and you are taken to court. He did something and you get a beating for it. So you can say, oh, it's not me. What do you want from me? It's Moshe did it. No. They don't want to hear about it. They say Jews. The Jews. You have to understand. We are as one body. Therefore, there's no difference. So you can say, oh, what do you mean? I'm pure. You don't know me. They don't want to know you. And they're right to say it. Explain to these Jews or the other Jews that it won't do any good. When the haters come, they can't hear, they're not going to judge if this is good or the other one is bad. They slaughter everyone.
In America, I see many Jews who just want to be like everyone else.
It's not going to do them any good.
But in America, there are cultural laws.
It's not going to help them.
And people are pleasant, nice to each other.
Everyone is so accustomed to being treated so poorly that if you try to point it out, they say, what's wrong? Calm down, calm down. Meanwhile, here is Jews treating Jews so terribly. In the United States, is Jews saying, well, we just want to be like everyone else and treat each other basic and fair. And I don't know what to do because I wind up running around like a chicken with my head cut off, yelling about how there's another swastika being painted on the wall back in the United States.
I promise you that you'll come in 6 months to your beloved America and you'll see what's going on there.
I had America, I had everything there.
I don't hate anyone. I don't hate the United States. They're not guilty of anything. No one is guilty of anything except for those Jews. Don't say you hate America. It's incorrect. It's a mistake.
But everything is in me.
I am an Israeli and an American, and there's something very distinct about these two.
Only the people of Israel, the Jews that exist inside humanity, they bring to humanity, as the book of Zohar tells us, death and hate.
Poverty, ruin, robbery, killing, and destruction in the whole world.
Amen. That's it. So look at it correctly, as the wisdom of Kabbalah is teaching you, and that's it. We have no one to hate but ourselves until we correctly realize our destiny to be such that we can be light unto the nations, and not that we are worse than them, that we do those things, what we just read. We ourselves, we are the ones who make it happen. Other than that, we have the fast of 10 of Tevet.
Question about correction.
So I have conflicts with people, and I shout at them. It's silly. What can you do? ואז אחרי את זה אני בוכה לבורא.
And then after that, I'm crying to the Creator.
בבקשה, אני רואה שזה הכל
Please.
יחס בתוך עשירייה.
I see it all comes from the relationship within the 10.
אני בוכה לבורא
And I'm crying to the Creator
כמעט כל לילה.
almost every night.
בבקשה, בבקשה.
Please, please.
שונה המצב בתוכי.
Change things in me.
And then I start apologizing, and I feel like then it's like cursing the Creator. Because it's like it's on one hand it has something to do with how I treat these great friends, and on the other hand, it's not my fault. But I don't, and so I don't know what to do exactly. I don't know how to proceed.
The approach is incorrect. You are not guilty, they are not guilty. It's a state that the Creator is giving you. And from this state, we have to choose what to do to bring about the correction. And there's no place here for this outcry, and I understand a person does this, but typically this is the behavior of people who do not belong to, don't connect to the plan of creation, the correct operating system, operations. We have to see that what we're receiving from the Creator, and I'm receiving it in order to take a step forward. Now, what kind of step forward can I take? What is before me? Think about it with your mind, intellect. Look through the articles, read, and decide. You have a great deal of material before you. Don't remain with your thoughts and desires. Enter into the text, into Shamati, articles, letters. Doesn't matter what. You can open wherever you open the book. You take a book of Shamati, open it. Wherever it opens, that's where you read. That's it. In this way, you will receive answers. Let's go to study of the 10 Sefirot.
Moving on to the next part of the lesson, the study of the